But at the same time, Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics has spoke about how the league being intertwined with this whole gambling situation is going to cause them to get caught up in a lot of different things. And player safety is one of them, with guys getting angry about their parlay. And also, former Cavaliers coach JB Bickerstaff, his family was threatened in their home about fans and their parlays.
I think be open to having a conversation. I don't think yet once from my conversations with the union of the NBA has been like, how can we protect players more with the environment? There's been little to no conversation around that. It's all about how can we increase business and increase revenue. And I'm not sure, if we're having enough conversations, like what is the aftermath or the consequences some of that stuff has. I think a lot more could have been done to help players or prepare players, but even in the aftermath, I don't think little care or attention to detail goes into it. They're like, you make X amount of money or X, Y, and Z, you should be able to deal with all the extra negativity, the people approaching you, is leading to situations that we can avoid if more conversations were had right now.
Again, when the money is worth the headache, certain things are getting overlooked. But now we're going to hear from a former top-level ranking mob member, Michael Francis of the Colombo family out in New York, and he's son of the former underboss, Sonny Francis. Like many other mob members, he got caught up. He did some Fed time for about 4 years. And a lot of these guys, I'm not sure about him per se, but a lot of these guys, I don't want to say necessarily turn snitch, but they sort of, they've entered the media space. Whether they started their own companies or they hopped on other large platforms and they kind of told their stories. They cashed in the whole aura of just the mob life. And in a way, it's sort of self-snitching as they reveal a lot of the inner nuances and a lot of the dynamics that played out. But right here, Michael Francis gives great insight to how this underworld kind of reels former athletes and current day athletes in with their addiction of competition. And once they get into debts, they kind of lure them into this spider web where they really can't get out of, and they might even have to end up fixing certain outcomes of a couple of games. You guys check it out, and every once in a while, I'll check in.
I had 12 or 13 bookmakers working for me at that time. And so obviously I knew a lot of athletes get in trouble all the time, with respect to gambling. It happens. I don't like to throw a wide net over everybody, but listen, you got to understand with athletes, gambling is an extension of their competitiveness. They raise the stakes when they gamble. And this is what happens. Many of them get in trouble, whether they be in pros or in college, but it's been happening and it will continue to happen. Now, 4 of the 5 New York families were involved in this investigation. It just broke this morning. And, oddly enough, the Colombos, my former associates, my former family, they weren't involved. So either they were smart and didn't get themselves in trouble, or somehow they're missing the boat. I don't know.
Or somehow they might be working with the feds on another case. Let's not get it twisted.
I don't know what it is, but let's get into this a little bit. Give you an example. Back in my day, NFL player, right? And this happened. I'm not going to mention the names. More than once, but this happened. Bookmaker working with me, he comes to me, hey, this player from the Jets, he's into me really heavy. He owes me 50 grand. Okay, what do you want to do? Should I bring him to you? How should I collect? 50 grand? Let him get into you for 250 grand, 300 grand. What are you doing? You're writing an entry on a piece of paper. It's not costing you a penny. He's a bad gambler. Let him get into you heavy and then bring him to me. Boom. Before you know it, he's into me $250,000, $300,000, right? I bring him to me. Sit down. Hey, how you doing? Good. You owe me a lot of money. Oh, you didn't know it was me? Sorry, yeah, we don't always put that out there, but it's me. You owe me a lot of money. How you going to pay? You got to pay. You got to figure it out. I'll tell you what. You know what? I love your team. I like the way you play. I'm going to give you a break. You owe me $250,000, right? You don't have to pay me right away. You pay me 2% a week in cash. When do you get paid? Every Monday you be here with the cash. Don't miss. Don't miss. And I'll let you slide for a while. I don't care. That's fine with me. He wants to do anything to get out of the room. He leaves. What do we find out? We're tracking a guy. He goes to another bookmaker somewhere else, right? And he's trying to make up the loss by betting somewhere else. Well, we all know what's going on. So pretty soon, he can't even pay me the 2%. We call him back in the room. Hey, let me explain something to you, my friend. You don't get away with a gambling debt. You got to pay me. You got a rich uncle. You got a godfather. Who would it? Go rob a bank. I don't care what you do, but you're going to pay me. That's it. Oh, Michael, let me tell you that. For some reason, I got a soft spot with you. I don't know why. So here's what we're going to do. You're a good running back, right? Yeah. All right. First 3 times next game, you put the ball on the ground. What? You heard what I said. Put the ball on the ground. First 3 times. You're a wide receiver? Okay. Make sure that that ball doesn't go into your hands. That's it. You're a quarterback? First 3 times you get the ball, put it in the other team's hands. I'll worry about the rest. I'm getting an edge now. I know what to do. You're going to do this over a period of whatever amount of games I tell you, and that's how we're going to even up the score. And if you don't do it, you don't want to know what happens at that point. I think you understand where I'm coming from. That's it. Very powerful. That's how you get these players to work with you. NBA player, the same thing. I don't care what you do. Foul yourself out of the game. Do whatever. Referee, same thing.
The human element is something that Adam Silver, as well as the other board members of the NBA, the other governors, the other owners, they got to take that into consideration with this marriage to gambling. Because when guys get in debt, God knows what they're going to be willing to do. Look at Terry Rozier. Come to find out, he owes the IRS over $8 million. Also, Jonte Porter, he had issues with debt. So he was trying to pay some of it back with the way he was kind of fixing his parlays. So you see the pattern. The same thing would apply to Malik Beasley. He's having issues with being in debt. The human element is a bitch, but once again, when the money is worth the headache, and I'm wondering how big of a headache the NBA is willing to have to keep collecting that money. And speaking of headaches, former disgraced NBA referee Tim Donahue gave great insight to his situation, because whatever he says, we should always look at it with a keen eye, because he's not really as credible. But when he talks about his personal situation and the way the league went about it, this is interesting, the insight that he gave. You guys check it out.
That they need to get gambling under control, and I think that he's going to continue to try to figure out a way to put a lid on this, but it's going to be very difficult for him, because I think this is widespread. I think it's going to be very damaging to the league. And, I just received a text message from one of the FBI agents that worked my case, and he basically said that they're not going to be able to cover this up like they cover up my case. I think the David Stern was able to basically put a lid on it and paint me as one bad apple, the only guy involved, and nobody else did anything but me. And
that sounds very familiar, the way he handled the Malice in the Palace. As we all eventually found out that from the legal side, it was found that most of the players involved in the melee, they were actually not at fault. The arena did not hire enough security, and the players were actually under major duress, especially Jermaine O'Neal. He took the league all the way to court. But at the time, David Stern was trying to make examples of certain players, as he was trying to craft the league's image away from a lot of the early 2000s, I would say, thugged out hip hop. The Allen Iverson effect. He was trying to get rid of that aura, the dress code. And remember, the NBA around that time, they did not have the TV money that they have now. So sometimes guys get caught up with talking bad about David Stern implementing that rule. But now we see the fruits of that labor with the league just keep getting larger and larger deals, because them corporate sponsors are not going to support the league if they present a certain aura. And we could see it play out no further than just social media in general. Everyone that's getting advertisements or just any kind of brand deals, they have to put up a certain image. They can't talk about certain topics. So the NBA was under the same type of microscope if they want to keep getting the bigger and bigger deals.
We're going to move on from it. The FBI said that there was 6 or 7 other people that they wanted to indict, and this got shut down from the highest level. And then I find out, after I go to jail, that, a guy by the name of Greg Andres, who was the head of the Eastern District of New York, took a job at a law firm and all of a sudden got all the outside legal counsel work for the NBA. So, it was a situation where David Stern really ran that whole investigation, and it got shut down by the, highest level people in regard to other people being involved.
Hey, my man David Stern ruled the NBA with an iron fist. Hey, he played his cards right. At the end of the day, Tim Donahue should have never been in that situation to begin with, completely compromising the credibility of the NBA. But this time around, Adam Silver is dealing with social media, and we are in the informational age. So Finessing out of situations like that is going to be very hard to come by. Even right now, he's trying to tap dance his way out of the Steve Ballmer situation, even though on paper, this looks like it could be over a $500 million cap circumvention. Like, he spent $500 million just to pay Kawhi a couple of $100 million. So you got independent creators like Pablo Torre taking advantage of the media landscape, being able to publish that and broadcast it to a mass audience. And that's something that wasn't available before when David Stern was dealing with the league and the Tim Donaghy gambling situation. And last but not least, there is a clutch sports dynamic to this whole situation, as people are questioning why Damian Jones was not necessarily part of the Lakers, but was still getting inside information in regards to the team. Now, LeBron James and Clutch Sports are a very powerful organization, make no mistake about it, because they even got Damian Jones a job on ESPN, where he was actually crafting LeBron's image, speaking very highly of him and just defending all the naysayers on First Take. Even when Darvin Ham was hired as the Lakers coach, we come to find out it's almost as if it was forced, but Damian Jones was kind of pointed to be one of the advisors on the team, even though they have no prior relationship. And Chauncey Billups, after being arrested, was wearing a Clutch Sports shirt. I'm wondering, what is he trying to bat signal to the viewing audience or even LeBron James himself? And Jeff Teague right here gives us great insight to how powerful LeBron James and Clutch Sports are. Keep in mind, LeBron is backed up by the NBA, Nike, Warner Brothers, the parent company of TNT, and also an outside company out in London that's responsible for major Hollywood productions. Anytime you see these highly produced late night shows or even certain movies, the same company, I believe, is Fullwell 73. You fellas can go ahead and look that up. It's a pretty powerful production company. That's really what makes LeBron James the GOAT. It's an off the court thing. The way he's handled his business, put his friends in proper position, the way he's aligned himself to make money even after he leaves the game. It's really something worth truly to be said. It's something that he doesn't get enough credit for. But you guys check out what Jeff Teague had to say about LeBron's powerful backers. And every once in a while, I'll check in.
But bro, the moment I said anything, anytime you say anything about Bron, people call you and say, hey man, you might want to chill. I know you got some funny stories and shit. Hey, leave LeBron alone. I'm like, God damn.
Okay.
I came on here and apologized. I'm sorry. I'm talking these some real people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, nigga. You funny, nigga. And you getting a little too funny. All right, my fault, brother. So I know ain't nothing getting by. They whole camp. They run the league. They whole camp run the league.
Yeah, bro. They too plugged in. For somebody not to know an inkling to something, I ain't saying they do an all-out play. I just feel like somebody, bro. If not, then that's one of the most...
Rich Paul, AD agent.
Yeah. That's one of the most covert operations in NBA history.
You gotta know.
Covert, get the fuck out of here. This shit's been fairly obvious for years. Even the way AD went to the Lakers. I'm surprised other teams ain't called for an investigation for player tampering. Get out of here, man. Come on. What are we talking about here? It's fairly obvious. LeBron went to LA and LA became Clutch Sports Central.
Somebody knew something. I don't know who, what, but somebody knew something. Even if they didn't know it was going to happen, when, what, where, why, somebody knew something, bro.
It looks like Damian Jones fucked up. He got some inside information, and the feds got the text and everything. Him saying, to place bets, LeBron is not playing, he's out sick. And even one time he tried to do it again, and it didn't work. The Lakers end up winning, or the bet didn't go the gambler's way, and then he end up telling them, hey, you win some, you lose some. So it is what it is. The NBA hasn't reached that point where they need enough Tylenols, because the money is definitely worth the headache. So that's all I have for today. You fellas definitely hit up the link in the description below. Check out the NBA True Stories playlist and also my NBA Hardwood Nuance playlist. There's definitely a lot of dope stuff in there. And until next time, you fellas stay safe. Peace.